All right, I'll share some crazy psychedelic experience stories. I've been thinking about doing this one for the last like week or so. Um, I don't. None of them are mine though. Um, I'm not the kind of person who freaks out on psychedelics. I freak out on alcohol and sometimes weed, but not on psychedelics. The worst that I freaked out on psychedelics, like an LSD, like I think I took 5 hits once, and I pretty much totally sobered up. And I looked at my hand, and my hand like got really short and really fat, and it was like just as fat as it was high. And I was like, my God, I'm straight hallucinating. And then right after that, I start like envisioning all of my nerves, like the tiny little nerves in my body that were actually metal and they're grinding together. And then I felt like I had to consciously breathe or I was going to suffocate to death. And I actually took like a half bottle of sleeping pills. I had this crazy Indian friend in college, and he liked to do that for fun. So we split an entire bottle of sleeping pills because it has mescaline in it. He wanted to trip, and I like saw butterfly flying around, but like I thought I was gonna die. Like I had to do everything I could just to keep breathing. And I think if I hadn't have consciously, if I'd fallen asleep or not consciously breathed, I would have stopped breathing. But so that sucked. But I kind of felt like that on the acid that one time. But that's the extent of me like freaking out on like psychedelics. So I'll have to tell other people's stories. Once my brother, I guess my brother in high school once jumped out of a moving car, and people freaked out. But I guess he said it wasn't that bad. The car was only going like 5 miles an hour. He just didn't want to go there where they were going or whatever. But he like one time he was at a Grateful Dead show in 1984 in '94 in Las Vegas, and I was actually at that show too, but I didn't see him. But I guess he tripped too hard on acid, and he was like staring at like Jerry Garcia was like staring at him in his eyes. I don't know if it was um, that concert. Maybe it was in Haight Ashbury. One of them, he stared in his eyes for like 10 minutes straight, but maybe he's down. But anyways, he freaked out and he thought that he was like communing with like Jerry Garcia or something. So he took all of his clothes off and jumped up, tried to jump up on stage with Jerry Garcia. And like the security guards like caught him in midair and then like threw him over the top of this like big fence right there near the stage. And and so then he's like wandering around the parking lot like all night long, like freaking out. And like I guess he took somebody's like Coke who was selling a Coke and just walked off with it. And the guy ran out after him like, "Hey, what are you doing? That's my Coke. You have to pay for that." And he turned and he looks at him, and he remember the guy looks at him and immediately goes, "Whoa, okay, hold on, never mind. You can have the Coke." And then like somebody gave him a pair of pants, and he was like talking to some Indian lady, and then her face like exploded. No, turned into like my dad's face, and then exploded into a million pieces and turned into stars. And then so anyway, that's pretty crazy. And then I had like these friends who it was like 6 guys in college friends who like went. They all took 10 hits of acid each, and they all went to climb this mountain and camp on the side of the mountain. Only they chose the wrong day, and they chose like a really rainy day. This is the best tripper story ever. They chose like a really rainy, stormy day, so it's raining and like lightning the whole night. And they chose a really bad camping site that was like on the side of the mountain on a really steep slope. So one of the guys, and they only had a 2-man tent, and they had a big golden retriever dog. And like one of the guys like totally freaked out and thought that they were gonna roll down the mountain and they were all gonna die. So he's like screaming. They had to like restrain him all night long. And there was a moonless night, and they only had one light. But one of the guys like it was like one of those Nalgene or whatever they're called, those Petzl headlamp things, and he like so it had the elastic, the 3 elastics, and he got it like tangled around his arm, and he thought it was attacking him, so he threw it as far as he could off in a distance, and so they had like zero light, and the dog I guess got excited by the guy freaking out, thinking they're gonna roll down the mountain, so the dog was barking all night long, and so there were 6 guys in a 2-man tent. That's all they had was a 2-man tent because I guess they didn't think it was going to rain all night long on a moonless night in a rainstorm on the side of a mountain, restraining a guy with a dog that wouldn't bark in the pitch black on 2 minutes of acid each. Oh man. Um, yeah. Um, I remember once I was my friend actually we went climbing in like what was it or they went climbing. I just tricked a whole bunch of acid in what's it called a maze Chaco Canyon. Was it Chaco Canyon? Maze. I can't remember what it's called in Arizona. This big like cliff that goes way down and you go way up it. And for some reason, I didn't go all the way up. I should have swam and gone all the way up because I ate like a bunch of hits fast. And I'm running as fast as I can, like everybody's walking. I felt like I was like in speeded up time, and everybody was like not even moving at all. You know, like you just push a button and everybody stops, and then you're the only one moving. I felt like that because I'm running so fast. But like, anyways, the next day, my friend decides he's an ass. I'm gonna get pulled over. And my friend's tripping, but he's actually totally cool. He like didn't say anything, but this cop searches my car for like 45 minutes, dude. Because I had like this Volkswagen van that was all painted up, like with a big like happy face on the side, and like the Flatirons on one side, and like the desert scene on the other with a flying saucer, and like the sunset on the ocean in the back, and it's a '71 Volkswagen van, you know. And I had these big old dreadlocks driving, so I was kind of asking for it in Arizona, and I think I was speeding too. Well, I don't know. I probably was. No, I made it really. I made it. I was actually really sure to not speed. I wasn't speeding, but he told me I was speeding. And so when he pulls me over, he says that he like looks down or something. I don't know how he did it, but he says he found a seed. Oh no, he wanted to search my car, so I let him search my car. And we had a hitchhiker who actually had a bunch of weed in his backpack who got us high afterwards. That was cool, and he didn't find it for some reason. And I had a bunch of acid actually in the car, but I made sure to hide it in a really like safe place so the cop couldn't find it. Anyway, the cop like. He said he found a marijuana seed, and so he holds it up and he goes, "What's this?" And I go, "I don't know what that is." And he goes, "It's a marijuana seed. I could throw you in jail for $2,000 fine, have you in jail for like months for this." I was like, "Really? I don't know." And he let me go because there was this girl I was with who was with us who was like talking to him the whole time. So I don't know, maybe he was like in a good mood or something. But I guess this is turning into like cops. Yeah, dude, I've been pulled over a bunch of times by cops. I got pulled over. I went on a weekend trip from home in Durango to Boulder one weekend, and we got pulled over twice on the way to Boulder and twice on the way back to Durango. And one time I got pulled over because we were in the wrong lane, completely in the wrong lane. And we were like, one of my friends was like actually exhaling a bong hit when the lights went off. And so we opened up the side door, the sliding side door, and pushed all the smoke out while we're slowing the car down. Then we slammed it shut right as the guy was like walking up, and he goes, "Have you been?" And we were drinking and smoking. The guy goes, "Have you been drinking?" He goes, "Oh no." Anyway, he let us go, and we got pulled over again because we like the bike rack was like covering the what you call it the license plate, and he said we were speeding, but that was pretty crazy. And I remember we got pulled over though once. It wasn't in my car, but the cop like searched the car and found my buddy's. You can say no, by the way, but he found my buddy's bag, and so we had to bail him out for $650. But he said he found a joint like on the floorboard of the car on the passenger side, and I didn't even know it was there. My friend didn't know it was there. Like we're pretty sure that the cop planted it there. But and then I got pulled over another time coming into a town in Colorado. You pass through a lot of these counties that you don't want to mess with. They're no tolerance counties. And I was coming in and I was totally following the slow down procedure to a T. And the guy pulls me over anyways because I have a painted van. And he goes, "Yeah, I'm going to call the dogs out here and search your van." And I was like, "Well, go ahead. I don't have any weed." And then at that moment, the kid who I was driving, he goes, "Oh my God, I have weed." And he was like, so he confiscated his weed and gave him this big fine. And I was bummed because I was like, I didn't know he had it. And I was like, "Oh man, now I can't smoke weed." But, and then my car broke down the next day. Didn't even make it to home. But, when else was I pulled over? I know I was pulled over a bunch of other times too, dude. I was a total cop magnet. I got pulled over all the frickin' time, dude. But I can't remember. So maybe that's the only times I got pulled over. Anyways, there you go.